He's trying to find a way to spin what we all know is the biggest public corruption scandal in the history of the country. Nothing has come close to this. And he's trying to spin it because the truth is that Joe Biden's compromised. Hunter Biden was the bag man. He was the guy going out, getting all the money. And then through the series of companies, the web of corruption that they created around Joe Biden, that's how Joe Biden and his family were basically luxuriating off the money that Hunter Biden was shaking down foreign companies and foreign countries on. That's the story, period, full stop. We have SARS. We have some bank transactions. We're looking to get more. We have text messages. We have the IRS investigation being blocked by the Department of Justice. We have the Department of Justice and their weak plea deal they tried to give Hunter Biden. But the only reason that got blown up is because they tried to hide all the FARA charges against Hunter Biden. I mean, this stuff speaks for itself. But Dan Goldman wants to say that, oh, they were just talking about the weather.
I'm looking here at a piece from Just the News on Devin Archer's testimony, and this is not hard. I don't think this is hard to understand. The Obama-Biden administration pushed out the pro-Russian president and refused to arm the new incoming Poroshenko government. Poroshenko's people started looking into Zlochevsky, the founder and CEO of Burisma, for tax evasion and money laundering. Same year, he hires Hunter Biden to be on the board of directors. Less than a year later, Joe Biden is threatening to withhold foreign aid from Ukraine unless they go in and fire the prosecutor who's looking into Burisma. This is not hard to understand. They paid the Bidens to affect American foreign policy.
Yes, that's exactly correct. That is high crimes and misdemeanors. It's public corruption. It's influence peddling. Everything you just said there is factually accurate, not just by one person. It's now been confirmed by 3 different sources of information. And the Democrats refuse to even acknowledge that is the case. They just ignore the story altogether. Look, I put out a tweet this morning. I was watching CNN and MSNBC. So I'm watching the whole hour, 8 o'clock hour. On CNN, they talked about Devin Archer's testimony for 2 minutes in an hour show. MSNBC never covered it. That is the cover-up going on by big media. It's the cover-up that's been going on by the Department of Justice and the FBI in this matter.
But again, this is not. I know that there is the 20 shell companies and all this other stuff that, quite frankly, I think that Joseph Ziegler and Gary Shapley should be able to fully trace and investigate. But you don't have to. You don't have to know all about the palace intrigue to understand it's pretty basic. This company was in trouble. They brought in somebody who can make the trouble go away. That's it. Ukraine was reliant on U.S. foreign aid. The man who was running policy related to that country was the vice president. So they said, get his son on the board of directors, pay him, and make this go away.
It's
pretty simple.
You made the case better than you made the case. That's the case for impeachment, in my view. And it gets worse than that because Burisma is, in my view, the smoking gun. DEFC, there's about 5 other or 6 other companies. You have Romania, you have China. We've talked about Ukraine. I think there are now companies in Russia, front companies in Russia. You have the widow of the former Moscow mayor, who is an oligarch. She somehow got left off of the sanctions list that Joe Biden put out a year ago when Russia invaded Ukraine. She's not on the sanctions list. Every other oligarch is except her. Oh, but funny, she gave Hunter Biden $3 million. I wonder how that works. And so at the end of the day, you have the situation where Devin Archer said, Hunter put him on the phone. He came to a couple dinners. Now, look, you know this. If you're the vice president of the United States and you go to a dinner, you mean to tell me you don't know who's there? Even Secret Service knows who's there because they won't even let those people be in the room unless they've been vetted by Secret Service to be around the vice president of the United States. So Joe Biden has been lying repeatedly on this. And I think that the time has come for us to start an impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden because he's lied about this. And let me also say, let's not ignore Merrick Garland and the Department of Justice because they've been covering up for all of this as well.
I'm looking right here at an email that the Daily Mail has posted to its website from Hunter Biden to Devon Archer dated April 13th, 2014. And it is a list of thoughts. It says that Poroshenko appears to be the likely next president. Determining our team's relationship with him is important. It then refers to how they can bring, we could actually be of real value here, developing relationships, bringing U.S. expertise to the company, supplying strategic advice on politics and geographical risk assessment. Then at the end, it says right here, buy a cell phone from 7-Eleven or CVS tomorrow, and I'll do the same. So they're talking about affecting the policy here. Let's go out and buy burner phones. Okay, you only buy a burner phone when you're up to no good.
Oh, no, that's 100% correct. That is also true. And let's take a step back for people to understand. There's this thing called FARA. It's about how if you're going to do the type of business that Devon Archer is talking about, you have to register in the United States as a foreign agent lobbying for foreign actors. Hunter Biden never registered. Never registered. There's a guy, I think your listeners might remember his name. His name is Paul Manafort. Paul Manafort was thrown in jail by the Department of Justice because he violated, guess what? FARA. And he was an unlicensed foreign agent. So Hunter Biden should at least be brought up on FARA charges. And this is last piece, and I think it's starting to come to light now. And I got to say, hat tip to our good friend Mark Levin on this one. If Joe Biden knew, and I totally believe he did, that his son was acting as an unregistered foreign agent, and the son is even asking or pushing for changes, that is an impeachable offense because Joe Biden knew about the criminality going on with his son and participated in it and in some respects took advantage of it. Don't tell me Hunter Biden is taking in $30 million and daddy doesn't get a plum nickel. That is a lie.
Well, I'll add something to that. Do you know what Jack Smith was doing at that time? He was the head of the public integrity unit at the DOJ. You're telling me while all this was going on, nobody even got curious about this at the DOJ?
Well, I think what the data now is coming out, the information is FBI was getting tipped off about this stuff. The FBI Form 1023, that is the last one that was written, was in 2020. That's information that was coming in into the FBI as early as late 2015. So FBI was tipped off about this. I am quite sure this information passed somebody at the Department of Justice. Now remember, this is Eric Holder's Department of Justice now. So you mean to tell me Eric Holder didn't know about this and that Jack Smith, who was the head of the public integrity section, he didn't know about this? And, oh, by the way, at the same time, this is when Barack Obama and Joe Biden were being briefed about Crossfire Hurricane and the illegal wiretapping and the illegal investigation into then candidate Trump, who became President Trump.
For all, they impeached Donald Trump for the call with Zelensky. Turns out Trump's instincts were right. The media ran interference for him in 2020. We just played the clip from the debates. They called the laptop Russian disinformation. Nothing to support that. And we know that Crossfire Hurricane and Trump Russia had no predicate. I mean, we're living in a pretty insane world, sir.
Oh, no, listen, this is a Tom Clancy novel. I mean, let's just be very clear. I don't even think Tom Clancy could have wrote anything like this, because that's exactly what you're dealing with. And let's remember, there's one other piece of information. You know that intelligence letter, the 51 foreign intelligence agents who said that the laptop was Russian disinformation? The person who put that letter together and got all the signatures, oh, that's Tony Blinken, the current Secretary of State. So you mean to tell me Blinken didn't get a payoff from Joe Biden to cover for his son, and that's how he got the position as Secretary of State? This is the problem that's with this administration. They are corrupt, top to bottom. People will say, oh, it's just Hunter Biden and Joe Biden is just a loving dad. Yeah, right. Give me a break. Because no dad, no person, frankly, is going to go into meeting after meeting, getting on phone calls because his son says, hey, get on this call. I got some people on the call. Say hi. And you don't go to your son at some point and say, hey, man, who are these people that you have me on the phone with? I do that now. I do it now with my wife and my oldest son. Who's this person that's trying to get in contact with me? What's going on? And they explain it to me. Joe Biden didn't ask the question. And for the benefit of the doubt, let's say he never asked the question. He didn't ask the question because he already knew the answer. because when he was vice president and Hunter Biden, Air Force Two, flying all over the place, they had figured out the way they were going to structure this thing. They figured out how they were going to do it, and Hunter Biden was the bag man, and Joe Biden was always on call because he loves his family so much, except for the last grandchild who just became a grandchild over the weekend.
Our top of the hour is going to kick in, so I got to end it here, sir. You're always welcome on the program. Republicans have to proceed with courage here. Okay, this is. When we look at the four things that are listed in the Constitution, treason, bribery, and other high crimes and misdemeanors, bribery is number 2 by name. So Republicans have to proceed with courage here. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. We'll get you back on the program anytime you want to come back on.
All right, thank you.
All right, Representative Byron Donalds from Florida.